Alright. What the hell is going on, everybody? We've got SERRAL in the bottom left side of the map playing Zerg up against MAXPAX in the top right playing Protoss. It is, of course, the lower bracket finals of the LiuLi 2024 finals. This is a, I think, $7,000 plus tournament. Clem waiting in the finals for the winner of this match. So it's going to be really important to see what goes on here. And whoever gets through there, of course, is going to have a shot. I mean, if there's anyone who's going to take down Clem, it's probably MAXPAX or SERRAL, right? And some of the series thus far have been incredibly close. Now that's Overlord into spawning pool. 15 Overlord into 15 pool. What? What is this, SERRAL? SERRAL's doing a Shin build order. Now, Shin known for doing very creative, funky, weird build orders, very aggressive build orders, but I guess he may have predicted that MAXPAX was not going to scout. But rather than going 12 pool to punish it, it just looks like a 6 Zergling pressure. So he's going to get a hatchery out relatively fast. This is a modified macro build. He will be delaying his gas a fair bit to do this. Hatchery ends up at a normal time. You still have 16 drones in the main, but actually built another drone there to go to 17. Yeah, maybe it's only 4 Zerglings. Does he get an extra lava in time? He's got 2 lava. The spawning pool's about to finish. You're going to see 4 Zerglings. Does he build another pair? There's another lava about to pop out in 2, 1. There we go. 6 Zerglings on the way, so it's a 6 Zergling run-by attempt. Honestly, on a big map like Amygdala, I don't know if you find any damage with this build. I'm very curious how SERRAL expects this to go. Does he hide on this side of the map, wait for the Adept to leave, and then run in? Knowing that MAXPAX will always send his first Adept across the map, does he try to run in before that Adept is out and depower the gateway? I'm really curious to see how this one goes. Chat says the 15 overpool is a Mio Micah special, says Togliatti. Yeah, Mio Micah definitely does mix in these sort of builds quite a bit. Shin as well, of course. There's quite a few, you know, weird timings you can do with this sort of thing. I know that the NA ladder loves this opening, but here we go. He goes straight for the gateway. The pylon, I mean. If he can depower that, that's going to be huge. He's waiting for the last 2 Zerglings. There's no chrono on the gate, and he's going to go. He needs that damage to come as a surprise, because if the probes pull for MAXPAX, that's going to be an issue. MAXPAX has not pulled his probes yet. There we go. A little bit too slow. There's no way he keeps that pylon up. He's already rebuilding another pylon on the outside of the wall, because he realizes, oh god, I am in trouble. And that pylon positioning, I gotta say, not optimal, guys. I'm going to go out on a limb and say not optimal. But he's losing a massive amount of mining time. Behind this, link speed's on the way, actually, at a really good time. So SERRAL not even delaying his link speed very far with this. And he's going to fight these probes for a little bit. Oh, forces the probes to stand their ground and fight. He's trying to go after the weak ones, but he knows, of course, pylon's going to finish. Adept's going to be out soon. Gets himself 2 probes. Does SERRAL. Great start to the match. It's going to slow MAXPAX down significantly, and a drone will move out to take a 3rd base at the same time. MAXPAX, Stargate's done at a good normal time. Oracle still starts up. And remember that MAXPAX didn't scout at the start. He played very greedy. So even with this damage going down, it does feel like it's not the end of the world. He's even in workers. He's got oracles on the way. Only problem is he can't afford a 2nd Adept to go pressure. If he could make a 2nd Adept and Warp Gate, he could go across the map and obviously force a lot of Zerglings. But right now, no threat of that. So SERRAL's got creep spreading, 2 bases full of workers on minerals. Link speed's on the way as well. He's just looking to have control over this opening. Now, these sort of little twists in his openings, this is what makes SERRAL the greatest of all time. It's what has allowed him to go from a very predictable player in 2018 who just could not be stopped to a player who can't be stopped despite being, you know, he basically became unpredictable. He mixes things in, he studies his opponents, he counters them. And I think that's always been, you know, MAXPAX's weakness against Zerg. I remember for years, people have said, wow, why is Protoss so weak to Zerg? MAXPAX can't take maps off SERRAL. And I always said, if you look at their series, MAXPAX is always behind. It's not that MAXPAX is, like, worse at the basics than SERRAL. It's that SERRAL's build orders are better and his planning's better and he's getting ahead every game. 3 drones go down. Oh, worth it. That was really good. That was really good for MAXPAX. 3 workers go down. But yeah, to finish that point, basically MAXPAX, you know, if he was ever in an even mid-game, I feel like he'd do fine versus SERRAL. He was just never in an even mid-game. SERRAL was always ahead off some cheeky opening and little adjustments that would allow him to, like, shut down the 2 Adepts or get a backstab in or, you know, find a way to be a bit greedier on his spore timing. Dude, look at the way SERRAL's pulling back his Zerglings so the Adept doesn't get any kills. What in the hell, man? Beautiful micro with those Zerglings, rotating the weak ones back, gets the Nexus cancel. MAXPAX has to start it up again, and SERRAL is doing a lot of things to just throw a spanner in the works. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Is he going to get again? No way. Okay, MAXPAX stays at home with an Oracle, high on energy. Another Oracle down in the bottom side as well. But SERRAL takes the worker advantage. And this is just a rough way to start the lower finals, isn't it? You're kind of on the back foot from start to finish. You've lost a bunch of probes. You've been losing mining time. You've been stuck in your corner. And you just wanted to get away with a nice, greedy start because SERRAL's predictable and he always lets you do what you want to do in the early game. Oh, SERRAL's Overlord not able to hide on this map. Oh. A little bit of a lag spike there. Sorry, guys. Looks like that did fix itself. But yeah, very top right corner of this map. You can't actually hide air units there. Something which you do have to remember. Oracle pulling back right now. Trying to pull north. We've got an Oracle going down to the bottom side as well. Oracle moving to the left. Here we go. He's rotating. He's going to get Creep Tumor. MAXPAX doing a good job of finding some control. Problem is that SERRAL is now up 15 workers, and you can see these layers of aggression throwing MAXPAX off his build, delaying his third base. It's just now finishing. He's down 20 workers. SERRAL has a monumental lead in this game, and I think this is going to be yet another one of these classic MAXPAX versus SERRAL series. The ones we used to see 3-4 years ago, where MAXPAX basically goes into the mid-game already hamstrung. And the fans of MAXPAX are going, oh man, what's going on? This is like, if you're not a super expert player, you're like, how is Zerg just always in such a good position? And then you're like, it's not Zerg, it's SERRAL, man. This guy's a freak. Not many people would do that as Zergling pressure on this map, and it would not work nearly as well unless your opponent doesn't scout. But he said it's Amygdala. I know MAXPAX often doesn't scout on this map. Go for those early Zerglings, and now he's going to defend with Lings, Roach Speed on the way, +1 melee, Spire coming in behind it. This is very clinical from SERRAL. MAXPAX finally going to look for some damage here. He's only 6 workers behind now. He's taking gases on his third and a Templar Archives behind this, but the Zerglings, of course, are going to bypass and make it hard for those Stalkers to join up. Those Stalkers have to return to the natural wall-in. Down here, single Zergling sets off the stasis trap. There's another Zergling on the front, but SERRAL just kind of avoids that. I don't think he's seen it, actually. And MAXPAX backs away. SERRAL happy to maintain control of his side as his 5th base comes up on the left. Stalkers getting surrounded for a moment. They are forced to blink, and SERRAL willing to trade those Zerglings. He can get 2 Stalkers. That's a very worthwhile investment. Same time, he's got an Overseer going in towards the main base. Spire is almost finished in the main. And of course, MAXPAX vision just not looking very good. Stasis Trap freezes 2 Queens. Not too bad. Better you find out about it now than with your army running into it. Charge coming in, Storm, +2 attack. MAXPAX on 71 workers. He's got to keep the pressure up, otherwise it's going to be a giant Muta Wave coming across the map. But that's a lot of Zerglings, and with +1 melee almost there, 1,200 gas in the bank, SERRAL will begin Mutalisk production. He's looking good. SERRAL's looking really, really good. But despite, being in a good position where you should know what's going on, he's still scouting at the same time. He's making sure there's no surprises, no Stargate reaction in position ready for the Mutalisks that might force him to pivot to Corruptors or back to ground play. He's just like, no, I'm going to build 9 Mutas, and then I'm going to smash you with my Roachling. Might make a Baneling Nest, might make +2 melee as well. I think he's basically saying, look, the Mutas are going to cause a big reaction, bounce around the bases, mess you up, and then it's the ground attack that's going to ruin your day. Mass Stalker not very good at defending that. However, Storms are coming in now. High Templar are there, gathering energy. He's got 4 Storms, or 3 Storms available, plus energy recharge. Ling still poking around the base. A couple cannons coming up in the third. Main base does not have a cannon, though. And the Mutalisks, they're going to gather up right now. Overseer contaminates the Templar Archives, does not get it in time. Roachling in the bottom right side, gathering on the tower. 50 supply advantage for Zerg. The Mutas show themselves in the main for the first time. Snap recall here for MAXPAX as SERRAL kills 4 probes and then just dances away to the left side. Same time, Zerglings deactivating some stasis traps on the front, but there's still one back there which they don't know about, and that stasis trap will save MAXPAX bacon, or at least it might. SERRAL runs right past it anyway. Roachling charging. Oh, the Mutas go after this as well. SERRAL, you can look at that and say, why is he eating such bad storms? Isn't this bad play? No. He understands that as long as he gets on top and doesn't let those units escape, that's the real value. Now that he's shown his hand, the secrecy of the Mutas has been revealed. He realized, I want a Roachling army, I need to get damage very soon, I can't screw around. He knew that it was worth taking damage on those Roaches because his numbers are so high. As long as he traps the High Templar and the Archons, it will be a good, worthwhile investment. And indeed it was. He kills a lot of stuff. More Lings coming in. He's going to try and trade on these Stalkers as well. Maybe get a few of these probes on the way back. The Stalkers are blinked back, but the Lings surrounding them. And that's what you got to do. After they've used their blink, that's your window to kill as many as you can. Blink comes back off cooldown though. And a few probes go down as he disengages. Leaves a pylon there, but not much else. Hive coming in. Mutas go into the natural. Grab a few more probes. Beautiful play here for SERRAL, who's up solid 27 workers. Hive, second Evo, Bane Nest, more Zerglings. The layers of Zerg savagery that SERRAL isn't acting upon MAXPAX, something that very few players, I don't think any other player really in the world has the finesse to execute it quite like this. Lings and Mutas go after the High Templar. Warp Prism saves them. Lovely play there from MAXPAX. He's going to have to use that energy recharge to get more storms. He does. And just trying to survive on 3-base. MAXPAX doing a good job of kind of scrambling to his feet, seeing what he can do. I like the way the Mutas click on the High Templar, but that one was actually a very impressive hold for MAXPAX. SERRAL getting a bit too eager, one could say there. Kind of trying to force his hand a bit too much. Big pack of Banelings on the top left side for SERRAL. For MAXPAX, you've got to re-establish the 4th, so it makes sense he's going for this, but I think maybe leaving a High Templar or a pack of Stalkers up here could be good. Otherwise, these Banes could ruin his day. Luckily for MAXPAX, that Zealot sees the Banelings. That's very good scouting for him, and he should be able to like warp in and stop most of that. High Templar goes back in the natural, few Stalkers, and a Sentry warping in there. Oh my gosh, that's not the best force field. That's going to go straight through the pylon. Oh my god, MAXPAX. I think he's reeling a little bit there. That was a poorly placed force field. Should have been one space to the left. Bit of panic. Loses 17 probes in a pylon to the Baneling run by. Something he just can't afford. I mean, he's already pretty much dead in the water. And when you're dead in the water like this, mistakes do very easily stack up. You know, it's like you need to play better than normal. That ain't going to happen. Storms on the Baneling's pretty slick. Oh, MAXPAX gets a nice set of engage there. But you can see the numbers are so ridiculous for the Zerg. Gonna come forward, take out a couple of these Archons. Only one Archon actually goes down. MAXPAX, really good fights, dude. SERRAL's just got the numbers. He can afford to be sloppy. In that regard, it is rare to see SERRAL take such cavalier fights, isn't it? Like, it's kind of odd to see him just playing so unafraid. Oh, he gets a full Warp Prism. That's a mistake for MAXPAX. Flies it over all 8 Queens, and those Queens have a party. Greatest Spires almost finished. +2 melee, +2 range, and Adrenal Glands. Yeah, it's weird to see SERRAL try to force the engagements. I mean, I like it because I do sometimes think maybe he's almost lacking urgency because he's got so much faith in his late game. In the other hand, I think 1 or 2 of these fights into Storms have been a little sloppy. Oh, the Banelings connect with the High Templar, but only 2 of them, which means it leaves them on the red life. Ling, Bane, Ravager walking through Storms. He does get rid of all the High Templar. SERRAL throwing away crazy numbers of units here against a 3-base Protoss. And who knows, does this give MAXPAX room to rebuild the 4th? Maybe. He's got Zealots coming out with Archon Stalker, some Zealots in the north as well. He's got another wave of High Templar coming forward. Energy Recharge has been his lifeline so far. And we'll see where this army goes. Brainless, you got spoiled last night. As soon as you woke up from the Reddit, did you? Got to be so careful with social media, don't you, when these finals happen. I'm happy I haven't opened anything. I'm always not able to open my apps after a big MMA card. Otherwise, I know, you know, there's going to be a thumbnail or something immediately spoiling everything for me. I have spoiled myself for far too many StarCraft tournaments, MMA matches. It's kind of rare that I've managed to not spoil myself. If anyone in the chat, by the way, knows, this is a best of 5, right? You guys can confirm this for me. I am avoiding checking the Wikipedia page because I do not want to know who wins. I don't want to know how long it, you know, the series goes for, that sort of stuff. Desperate last-ditch counterattack for MAXPAX, guys. If MAXPAX wins with this Stalker, Zealot, Archon, High Templar army, it will be one of the most epic comebacks. The Banes are a bit clumped. Still very clumped. Oh my gosh, the Stasis Trap kind of saves the Banelings, actually. And they are going to get frozen there, but dude, Broodlords are morphing, but MAXPAX actually kills a hatchery, and SERRAL in the top left. His Queens will defend that base, actually. Okay, Queens can defend because they've got unlimited transfuse. Banelings looking for the High Templar, not quite finding them. Ling's trying to come in. They're getting hit by the Storms as well. SERRAL has been struggling with the Psy Storms in this game. Zealots up in the middle. Queen's taking some damage. Nice transfuses, though. And I think SERRAL's micro is good enough. He finally chases the army down on the right. The Queen transfuse on the left is perfect. And he's going to be okay to overwhelm. He's got a bunch of Broodlords now coming across this map. MAXPAX sees it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he GG's. I mean, I think he's going to maybe blink across. Yeah, I'm like, your opponent has as many Broodlords as you have Stalkers and Archons. And he's on 5 base even after you sniped one. You're on 3 bases from the start of the game. Very justified GG. MAXPAX, good defense there. But SERRAL, fantastic opening surprises. All right, guys, going into game 2. SERRAL with a fantastic game 1. We're going to go Extractor Trick, I would imagine. Yeah. So he's going to go 15 Overlord by the looks of it here. I mean, he could go 15 Hatch, 15 Pool. Just depends if he goes for the Overlord with this lava right now on 100 minerals. And he does. Okay. That was actually like 0.2 of a second delayed from when he could have built it. Very rare delay there for SERRAL. MAXPAX is going to block his expansion though. So MAXPAX coming in nice and early. Should be able to block that just in time. Oh. He should have seen SERRAL's drone going out. SERRAL just going to go take his third at 17 supply. Not a bad way of doing it. Now, it is ley lines for map 2, and you're not getting screwed up by the opening, so I think MAXPAX totally fine to have sent an early worker. Now, one thing I really don't like recently in the meta, and you guys let me know what your thoughts are on this, and I'll probably chat to some pros. It's funny, because I remember, like 9 months ago, a year ago, Showtime was like, you always double chrono 2 adepts, and you always dive them in, and even if you kill just 3 drones, it's worth it, basically. And he was like, he had like really good PvZ opening. And these days, people are like, even if I block their natural and make them build a really exposed third, I won't chrono 2 adepts. I might chrono 1. I'm definitely not going to chrono 2. I'm not going to commit to adept pressure until the oracles are out. And it's all about just chronoing probes, chronoing oracles, filling the oracles with energy. And the only real serious adept pressure we see these days is 4 to 6 adepts joining up with the 2 to 3 oracles and starting to cause problems on the front. And that can be a really nice way of punishing the spore crawler reliance of the modern Zerg ever since the last patch, where the hatcheries are a little cheaper, but the queens are more expensive, and the spores do a lot more damage. So people are more and more reliant on the, you know, we saw Raynor do the 4 queen opening, and I'm like, well, that's good you get away with it, you know, 1 game, but if they go for six adepts and 3 oracles the next game and don't fly into a spore crawler, it's going to be really hard to defend that with only 4 queens. Now, SERRAL normally plays 5 queens, and he will build a 6th one if he feels the need, or even a 7th as well if you're really in his face. But he's been pretty methodical at it. MAXPAX is going to chrono an adept. I'd love to see a 2nd one get chronoed as well. Stargate in the main base, nicely timed. Crisp build order. Warpgate normally starts here at 50 gas. And then you get 25 gas just in time to start the 2nd adept. There we go, 25 gas and a 2nd chrono. Oh, the lost art, guys. It is truly a lost art. Now, great way to punish this is just to sneak Zerglings in when the adepts are trying to barrel across the map and join up. 2 adepts, of course, needed to one-shot drones, one-shot Zerglings, and just 2 Zerglings can get in there, cause a bit of lost mining time, dance around a bit. Oh, SERRAL with an F2. Oh, no. I think, or maybe he was purposefully hiding it. I don't know. That felt wrong, pulling those out of the base. Normally you want those circling around the back of the Protoss base, scout the Stargate, confirm what's going on, and also potentially waste a bit of mining time and delay the adept as long as possible. But SERRAL, he doesn't even see the Stargate. He just kind of runs out of there, and I think that was maybe a slight, I wouldn't say F2, but probably a hotkey error, where those Zerglings were meant to be removed from his army hotkey, which is, of course, these Zerglings, and they actually hadn't quite been just yet. Now, he's on a journey to trap these adepts on the way home. And he's being devious with how he gets across the map. Really well done. Link speed's not quite done. There's not enough links to actually kill the adepts, though. I think he's going to realize, wait a second, oops. But he can deny the 3rd base from going down super early, which is always cute. Does take a few adept hits there. He's going to dance around. Oracle and adepts are here. The Oracle's going to tag those Zerglings. This is not a big commitment to Zerglings, but SERRAL, with a small number of Zerglings, has kind of forced the adepts and the Oracles back, delayed the 3rd slightly, and just forced a bit of respect out of MAXPAX. It's these tiny details of SERRAL not overcommitting, not hiding 40 Zerglings to cancel a 3rd here in the 2nd game, but after doing so much damage in game 1 as well, you know MAXPAX is going to kind of be on his toes a bit, be a little worried. So the Oracle gets a lava on the natural, turns around, goes back in. Can he find another one? No, it's an Overlord popping out. And another drone does queue up there. While it's in lava form, it is very vulnerable. Oracle takes damage, which means no more shield regen and a bit of damage off the hull. Adept's taking damage, but a new Oracle coming in on the left. It's the classic one, too, that he's so famous for. Oracle flies into the Spore Crawler, does take a bit of damage, only gets 1 drone. The Adept's actually shaded into the in the main base, though. They got a few kills there, and they will both go down. That's 5 drones in total. No, Oracle died. Oracle comes back in the natural, gets itself another drone. MAXPAX, he doesn't quite get the other one. Oh, he does take a bit more damage there than he would have liked. Oracle comes in from that side as well, dancing around. The gas workers are so exposed that, oh god, SERRAL's in big doo-doo. SERRAL right now is in huge doo-doo. 3 more drones go down. I don't know any Finnish swear words, but I'm absolutely sure he's saying some of them now. To be fair, I've seen SERRAL's camera when he's playing games, when I can't necessarily hear what he's saying, but I'm pretty sure I've seen him mouth a certain word that starts with F before, and I guarantee you he's saying that one right now. A couple of gateways coming up here. It's going to be 6 gate, Twilight Forge off 4 gas. Looks like a blink follow-up. This is not the opening SERRAL wants, guys. 9 drones, 7 Zerglings for 2 adepts. This is a really bad start for him compared to that last game where, you know, we saw him miles ahead, struggle to finish MAXPAX off in that last game. And like I said, he was eating storms kind of bad. He was being a little sloppy with his army control. That's not promising going into a game 2 where you get hammered by the Oracle Adept harass. You've still got Oracle Adept hanging around. Your lairs only just started at almost 6 minutes, which means you don't really have a lot of tech to counterplay him with. And now you just have to find a way to make this work. Adepts cancel the shade. Very well done. Another drone goes down. Almost gets one more, but not quite. Good spread on the Zerglings. And those Adepts hiding in that little corner of the mineral line. But beautiful movement. Oh my gosh. Another drone goes down. Another couple drones. This is just excellent play for MAXPAX. And you can tell he's got momentum. 3 drones. The Adepts finally fall without more kills, which is one little good thing happening for SERRAL. He's on 68 workers at just past 6 minutes, which is not a bad count. He is up in workers. MAXPAX maybe made a few small macro mistakes, perhaps. He's supply blocked here on 85. I think his supply is going to explode the moment those pylons are finished as he goes 6 gases and starts getting a Robo, as well as the Templar Archive's almost done. Blinken +1 on the way. Zergling's ready to counterattack the 3rd base. Oracle Stalker's going to start rampaging north. And SERRAL is just on massling production, and wisely so. +1 melee is almost finished for him, and it will be in time to stop most of the blink pressure, which is really good. He clicks on the battery. Probes are trying to fight here for MAXPAX. He's realizing, uh-oh, that battery going down is not good for me, but warps in Stalkers, gets the Oracles home. I think all things considered, that's about as well as you think you could expect it to go as MAXPAX. You've so far killed 20 Zerglings this game. You've only lost a few Adepts. Shield battery, 100 minerals, not a big deal. You rebuild it, you have a cannon. Cannon and a battery, plus probes being able to be pulled, plus warp-ins. Not something that SERRAL's going to want to roll into with Zerglings, but Baneling roll-ins absolutely could still do damage. Just depends on how quickly MAXPAX reacts. Stasis traps are available in the front. 49 Zerglings with +1 melee, +2s on the way. Baneling Nest and a Hydra Den coming in. But it's a long time till Hydras will be on this field. Queen does get sniped. Lovely play there for MAXPAX. SERRAL going, where the hell is the Stasis trap? He sets him off. Oh, he's got to pull back. 2 big stasis traps, and he's got to wait to re-engage a bit later. Banelings try to roll in. They will find nada. That's right. MAXPAX with a quick reaction shuts that one down. He's in the driver's seat this time. You can see how much easier StarCraft is when you're the guy who's got the edge. When you've got the numbers, and it's the Zerg who suddenly has to respect everything. He's one step behind. He's eating big stasis traps. Finally, though, comes in with a nice surround, and that's the sort of move he was looking for. Those Stalkers try to blink to the low ground. There's not enough space in the low ground, so a few Stalkers do go down. The Oracle's very low on energy. The Zergling surround could be deadly. I think he might have to recall. This is one of those scary situations. You don't have any Oracle lasers overhead anymore. You've run out of laser energy, and it's just Stalkers up against these Zerglings. Blinks back to the high ground with most of them. How many Stalkers did he lose there, guys? We're going to just do a quick check with that number on screen. Oh, another one goes down. Little mistake there for MAXPAX. That's 9 Stalkers. Pretty costly, but overall units lost tab still 2-1 in favor of MAXPAX as he does get a rather late 4th base up on this middle high ground purple gas base. Now, these middle high ground bases, as well as the low ground one, you guys know my thoughts on them. Getting only 3/4 minerals and only 2,000 gas available on the base. It's not a great long-term investment by any means, but it's just convenient to defend, right? I personally feel like this base down here is a much better base for Protoss, as you can still just defend a single angle into it. But I think MAXPAX kind of wants this central forward pushing path into the middle, and he wants to control the center of the map. Now, a few Zealots are ready to help stop the run by, as well as 3 cannons coming up on MAXPAX 3rd base. MAXPAX realizing this is going to be one of SERRAL's most frequent attack angles, and if he can stall that one out, that's going to be good. Now, SERRAL, he's done a great job of recovering economically, but remember that his tech is behind. You might think, oh, he's ahead in supply. You know, this is still good. It's not, guys. His hive's not started. He's on Hydraling Bane without even having both Hydra upgrades, and MAXPAX is at the same supply, but with Psystorm. If you're playing into Psystorm and Hydraling Bane and the Protoss is the same supply as you, it is not looking good for you at all. That is why SERRAL needs to get the work done. Hydraling Bane coming in, Lings on the south getting hammered, doesn't really find much damage. 6 probes go down, gets himself, I think, a photon cannon on that 4th base as well. But look, there's also a Warp Prism that's going to counter pressure him. He does know about the Warp Prism, which is good, so he's got the Zerglings there. He's kind of ready for it. Archon's making at home for MAXPAX. I think for MAXPAX, if he could get another gas up, this rich gas, that would really help him out, but he's only just started mining that one. The Oracle's going to spam out stasis traps. How many High Templar are we looking at? 5 High Templar in this game. As long as he keeps one on the south side as well with this army, it's going to be hard for SERRAL to hit him with any counters. And SERRAL forced to go Lurker down Hive Tech. And I think he's basically just saying, you know what? This is exactly that series. The first series they played in the Masters Coliseum, he says, we're playing this again. This is our 4th series in a major tournament in the last couple of weeks. We've got to go back to the very first one. This was the very first map where he was getting hammered by MAXPAX late game, and he made a crazy comeback. Oh, but he chases too far into the side storms. MAXPAX is so good at falling back and using stasis traps, storms, and that army to just ruin the Zerg's day. SERRAL is not going to be happy with his units lost out. He's lost almost 10,000 resources, while MAXPAX is hovering closer to 5,000 or 6,000. That is a bad position to be in. MAXPAX nearing 2-to-1 efficiency, similar base count to the Zerg. He's got a bigger worker count, and he's going Fleet Beacon before the Hive's even finished, which is never what Zerg wants to see. Zealot Archon High Templar attack down the bottom. Archons are very good against this. Banelings go after the High Templar, but you could see MAXPAX targeted those Banes down to protect the High Templar. Uses a Storm as well. Now, he's going to use this as a distraction while he attacks up north. Banelings coming in. Stasis Trap actually surrounds an Archon in position with the Frozen Zerglings. And this army in the bottom right should go down to the Hydras now. Wait, is it though? Nope. SERRAL's just going to tap, guys, and that's because the army came straight back in on the north. He just doesn't have the numbers. He's got a handful of Hydras, and that's it. You can see, as that happened, MAXPAX re-engages in the north, and he's just like, well, I just don't have any units. He's just like, look, man, I'm screwed. He knows there's so much money. Those, this fight already didn't look good. He sent his entire army to deal with this in the bottom right. He has 2 Hydras and a Queen left up here. So he's barely going to overwhelm the bottom right army and just have nothing up top. SERRAL knew he was done for. MAXPAX, too good of a start there. And if we look back in the replay, it all came off the back of blocking the natural, doing double adept, forcing a few more lings out, and then, of course, that first Oracle, right? First Oracle came in with the adepts, and they found some openings. Didn't look like a lot of damage at first. Just gets a creep tumor, gets a lava, hangs out. No, nothing too bad, right? But these adepts did not get dealt with very easily. And you can see SERRAL didn't get to the backside of the mineral line. He let the Zerglings kind of paused, and that's why he loses a bit too much damage. The Oracle distracts, the adepts do damage, and this causes a bit of chaos, causes a bit of distraction, and then, of course, this guy comes in, gets 1 more worker, which is not a lot, but it distracts SERRAL enough as he almost gets a second one, and this was the cherry on top of the cake, which was the Oracle goes south, doesn't see anything, and then he realizes, wait a second, this is the 1 in a million times where SERRAL's actually so busy doing other things, he didn't pull workers off gas, and that's a huge amount of damage. 9 workers that early really just stuffed SERRAL's opening up. Nice play for MAXPAX. All right, guys, going into the next one, MAXPAX has sent one of his very first probes across because he said, if I can block your expansion, I'm going to have success. But this is, once again, Overlord into 15 pool, and SERRAL's pretending to take his 3rd base straight away, but he's not. He's trying, he purposely just showed the drone leaving to make it look like he's taking a 3rd base with a normal hatch gas pool to trick him. And MAXPAX buys it! MAXPAX buys it! SERRAL, you genius! Remember, this goes down to the minute and 7 seconds. Same as game 1, guys. This is exactly the same as game 1. Oh! Slightly delayed. He squeezed 1 more drone and gets the hatchery down and says, nah. MAXPAX says, oh god. Okay. MAXPAX, he scouted this time though. He should go Cybercore before Nexus. Easy change up. Sees the spawning pool almost finished. And you got to go Cybercore first, surely. Yeah. He's going to go Cybercore first. If you go Cybercore first, you can always get out in time to block a normal opening. But notice, he sees no lava saved up. So he's like, you backed out of the build. SERRAL realized he was going to be spotted. So he stopped saving lava for Zerglings. And he said, yeah, just build more drones. Because I know you're going to have to go Cybercore before Nexus. I forced you to delay the Nexus, make your build a little less optimal. And I'm just going to build the earlier than normal Queen, build drones, take the gas, and turn this into a normal build. The level of flexibility and the pivots within SERRAL's build, based on what he sees from his opponents, are the best part of his builds. Like, I always tell people, are always like, oh, how do I do an aggressive build or a disruptive build or a cheeky thing? And I go, they're like, my big problem is I don't know when to do it and when not to do it. And I'm like, look, if you're learning StarCraft, and even at a pro level a lot of the time, you just pick the build before the game happens, and then you just follow what the build says. And like, yeah, there's some adjustments, but like, in this scenario, you just always build 6 Zerglings, you always send them across the map, and maybe you do the sneaky thing with the drone. But SERRAL always has that extra layer where he's like, well, if I see the probe come into my main before the pool's finished, I just build extra drones. Because I know the Zerglings aren't going to do anything. I know he's going to be respectful. I've already forced the Cybercore first. Why build 6 Zerglings? Why build 4 Zerglings? Just build more drones. He has to respect it anyway. And this way, you know, we end up in an even or maybe even positive situation. So hats off there to SERRAL for playing in such a clever way. Link speed coming in as well. MAXPAX going for Stargate. Can you believe it? This is no shade on MAXPAX, by the way. With the energy recharge, I think you're insane if you don't play Oracle first. I mean, we've seen people play Oracle into Archon drop. Keep in mind, that does prompt SERRAL to go for the German taxi, right? He will do a big Roach Queen push if you do that. That is why we have not seen MAXPAX open up Immortal in this series. Last series, he got punished. He managed to hold on one of them, right? That one game. But the other games, he wasn't able to defend, whether it was a maxed out Roach Queen push or one of the other ones. He just couldn't keep up with it because the Zealots are nowhere near as flexible as the Blink Stalkers at defending that sort of stuff. Now, he sees the third hatchery. SERRAL almost always goes for this hatchery. The Adepts here. They want that creep tumor. Notice how SERRAL targets the weak Adept, though, not the strong one. And cancels the Shade, does MAXPAX, and pulls back. Takes a bit of damage on the Adept, though. SERRAL, I think, is like, look, I lose a creep tumor, delays it, it's a bit annoying, but I damage the Adept, so I'm getting a bit of value for that. And the Void Ray is going to shut down the Overlord. Overlord will see the Oracle building, so SERRAL knows, yep, all good. Can let that Spore Crawler finish in the main base. Few Zergling's going to move out the north, and MAXPAX always expands north on this map, so very normal for him to do that. Just 2 Zerglings and 2 Queens here. SERRAL gonna have to build a few more Lings. I mean, seeing only 2 Lings there, does MAXPAX realize? You might realize, it looks a little suspicious. His Oracle's about to come out. Should be able to defend this, though. Ooh, Overlord in the open. SERRAL leaving an Overlord hanging out. Unlike him to do that. Zerglings hit that third base. Adept shading in. Here we go. Overlord goes down. Adepts do finish the Shade. They take out 1 drone. They take out 2. Can they get a third? Yes, they can. But that should be it. 3 drones is all that goes down. Void Ray goes into the main. It gets run away. At the same time, Oracle runs to the third base. Zerglings get pushed off that third. It took damage, but it did not get anywhere near dying. Great sequence for MAXPAX. That is a beautiful sequence, guys. Units lost tab is in his favor. You can bring up that Shift L tab. We've got 2 Overlords, 3 Zerglings, 3 drones for just 2 Adepts. Not to mention, there was extra Zerglings pressuring the third that didn't really find the mark. There's now only 1 Oracle on that. 1 Void Ray, 1 Oracle. 3rd and 4th gas into Robo Twilight. That does look like it's going to be actually a Zealot follow-up, guys. And, I mean, with the Void Ray out, could see what he does, but does SERRAL once again get prompted into pushing with Queens and Roaches, I wonder? Roach Warren goes down in the wall off. Void Ray gets pushed back. 3 more gateways coming in. No Forge. No Forge just yet. It says 4 gates. I guess we're going to go... Does he... I mean, I don't think it really makes sense to do Archon drop this late, but... MAXPAX might feel like doing it. See Templar Archives? Taking a look at his base right now. He starts a Prism into Templar Archives. Yeah, okay, he's still gonna do Archon drop. Interesting. Normally we only see him commit to this when it's a bit earlier in the game. But I guess he's just decided, you know what, if we're gonna play Charge, it's a good way to do it. He should have a Forge coming in behind it. Normally, you want to warp in 4 High Templar, morph them to Archons. Oracle gets itself a drone. So you want to warp in 4 High Templar with 600 gas, morph them into Archons. It's not really timing out correctly for that. And then you want to start your +1 attack and your charge after that, which, oh, look at this, guys. Oh, a couple drones got picked off trying to mine out the gold minerals. 4 drones go down. SERRAL does pick off 2 probes, but the Oracle wins that trade, doesn't it? 60 drones for SERRAL, 57 for MAXPAX. SERRAL's got a lair almost done at 6 minutes. His Evo chambers just come up. His 6 gases are now up, but he hasn't started mining them all just yet. No 4th base started at past 6 minutes. SERRAL is in a bit of trouble. And the Archon drops coming forward. So there we go. First 600 gas on that. And then he goes charge, and +1 should be starting behind it as well. MAXPAX, you could tell his build's tight. There's a sequence here, a very intentional sequence. I think he tried to start +1, but he was at 90 gas when he selected that Forge. So he didn't start it straight away. And now he starts an Immortal. He'll have to go back to start with that +1 upgrade in the near future. Hopefully he realizes it didn't start it, because you don't really want that to be delayed too long. Now you can dodge Roach attacks with Warp Prism pickups, but it gets a single Roach. Nothing too bad there for SERRAL. Infestation Pit's on the way for him. SERRAL's going to be stuck playing a very conservative Lurker. Viper sort of follow-up, just really standard stuff. And the +1 attack and the Psystorm now finally on the way, as well as the second Robo. So MAXPAX going into the most generic Immortal Storm army. You know, when you watch Hero, it feels like every other game, he just doesn't have Immortals or he doesn't have Storm. He's missing some core part of the standard Protoss comp. MAXPAX, in this game, on the other hand, is just saying single Void Ray, single, you know, Oracle, 2 Adept Pressure, and then straight to the most standard game. Get the Immortals, get the Storm, get that really strong, stable army that can just sit there, camp on 3 base, and do its thing. And remember what I said earlier, just before this series started, I said, guys, next map, we're going, before the ad break, I was like, we're going to El Dorado. If there's any map we're going to see swarm hosts, it's this one, because Serral loves to go and take those southern bases, which means the swarm hosts are pretty damn effective. Queens go forward, don't want to get those jumped on though. The Archons do pick up. It's Roach Queen swarm host off 66 drones. No Nidus required on this map. He needs to push this creep forward so he can throw those locusts into the main. Now remember, the big mistake MAXPAX had last time he played this map when he lost to this is he didn't blink across the gap to clear the swarm hosts out. This time, he doesn't even have blink, so he doesn't have the option to do that. Even if he wants to, he's going to have to do Immortal Archon Prism drops or something like that to try and clear the Queens and swarm hosts up in this south side. But if this first wave can kill his Nexus, he might just be screwed. Up in the top side, tries to take a fourth base, single circling, denies it. SERRAL getting a move on. Now remember, SERRAL's build is pretty committed, guys. He's on only 66 drones. His value, his economic advantage is basically these locusts. He's looking for value out of the locusts. Void Ray is going to take out 1 or 2 locusts before they get in there. But those locusts, once they land, they do crazy damage. I think he just goes for the Zealots. I don't think you go for the Nexus, because you realize you're not going to kill the Nexus, just kill whatever you can. Takes out a few of the Zealots, and look at that. Archon drop comes in, targets the pylon, realizing 4 Zealots, a pylon, that might be the only thing he really has a chance of killing there. Nice pickups and drops on the Warp Prism as well. The Archons do buy time. If the Roaches can attack the north at the same time, they might be able to get on top. He might want to just jump on top of the High Templar, but no, there's a few too many Storms and Immortals. If he was coming from 2 sides, for sure, but from only 1 side, not a good call. 3 Roaches in the north, ready for a counterattack. Swarmhost getting ready down south to try and move in again. Great Storm for MAXPAX. Does lose his 4th base control, but he doesn't really lose too many units yet. If MAXPAX maxes out, his army's much better. Serral's added a few drones, and he's added double gas on this gold base. Having a forward gold base with double gas, he can make a lurker transition. You can see he's building Hydras right now. Queens do get caught off creep. This is what I was talking about. You need to chase this away with a Warp Prism, but you don't want to lose these Archons. He has to pick them up. At the same time, Locusts come in there on the natural. Zealots warping in and getting killed pretty quickly. Locust damage is insane, but they're only trading for Zealots. Losing Zealots here, I mean, obviously, you're losing units for free. You're going to be way behind in the units lost, but because SERRAL is spending a lot of supply on these 10 swarm hosts, that's 30 supply that for most of the game is dead, except when he's throwing those locusts, which you can only throw out once every like 45 seconds or whatever it is. He's going to basically not be able to defend with these. He's hitting his max supply, and he's got less workers than a Zerg might normally have at this stage of the game. So yes, you're getting efficiency, but you're only killing mineral units. You want to kill High Templar. You want to kill upgrades. Look at the Ball of Death. 9 Immortals, 5 High Templar. MAXPAX army is ridiculous. Even if he loses a base or something, he could be in a really good spot here. A couple of Lings and Roaches come down south. Queen's pushing back. Swarmhost ready to throw. Roaches in the north, hitting those probes from the high ground. Really nice to get a bit of damage there. SERRAL doesn't really have an army that can stand and swing with MAXPAX army, but he can be annoying, and he can try to control space. Now, oh, look at that. He baits the Locust into unloading with the Archon. Energy recharges and storms down the Locust. Beautiful play. What did you get? A Zealot? Is that all you got? Not a good pick off at all, but MAXPAX gets lured out of position to the top right, kills a bunch of Roaches. He loses his 4th base yet again, and you got to think, guys, 5 base against 3 base, surely SERRAL's winning. And that's what you'd think if you don't understand ZvP. Because, guys, we got to bring it back. I'm talking about this every Zerg vs Protoss. You can't just kill the Protoss economy. You need to kill their army. SERRAL gets an Archon. He gets 2 Archons. That's lovely pickoffs. He's trying to make lurkers, but he's on a timer. He needs those lurkers, and he needs them right now. Because that army for Protoss is ridiculously good. And even though MAXPAX economy sucks, and it's way behind on pretty much every metric, he's able to push with a ball of savage Protoss death. SERRAL will lose his top left base 100%. Now, if he can hold his ramp with the lurkers and keep doing counter damage, it might be worth it, but MAXPAX army is still growing in power, and unless he loses that army, he's looking really good. High Templar and Immortals on the low ground. The range isn't done. The range isn't done. The range will be done in a few seconds here. That's going to make the lurkers way better as units. We'll see if that works out. Immortal goes down to the Locust on the other side. These guys push up, kill the Rotoran, but they pull back because there's too many lurkers there. Locust didn't hold position, which means they did not kill the probes. The cannon took aggro on that natural, which means the Locust tried to attack that rather than going for the workers, and SERRAL missed out on some damage. Zealot Archon counterattack down the bottom. More Zealots and Archons warping into that Warp Prism. Swarm hosts are in the open, which means they could get jumped on. The Immortal Archon High Templar army has to pull back, but MAXPAX has regained control of this southern side. Remember, this is what it's all about. If you can control this watchtower, remove the gold base, remove the forward throwing path for those Swarm hosts, that can be massive. Swarm hosts trying to run away right now. They're going to run back through the Zealot Archon. The Roaches, the Hydras trying to come down. Locusts do end up jumping on the army, and they don't really do much. They get stormed, they get taken out. Swarm hosts starting to go down. And honestly, I think we're past the Swarm host stage of this game now. I think you try to keep them alive if you can, but as SERRAL, you need Vipers, you need more Lurkers, and you need to start transitioning Broodlords and play endgame, because that gold base gets denied. At least he's got the base in the top left. He needs to put on gas there, and I'm sure he will in the near future. But right now, we've got a Prism going into his main base. His main base is wide open. MAXPAX fighting from a very high-pressure situation very well. You've got to realize SERRAL's goal here was always to dive on the economy with the Locusts, wear them down, force MAXPAX to split his army up enough that you could take the army down in little pieces. But now MAXPAX has built such a good army, he's the one who's comfortable splitting up his units. The Archon does go down, the Roach Hydra will defend. That's a good, clean, efficient pick-off for SERRAL. As he gets the drop, he does get the drop. He does get the drop. That's huge. That simplifies his position a lot. He's pulling Lurkers back into a nice battle line as well. SERRAL turtled on 4 bases. MAXPAX is like, I got a 4th. I'm fine with this. I've got control. You swarm hosts aren't sieging me. We are good. But of course, SERRAL, devious, sends his swarm hosts around the north side, and most importantly, builds a Nidus. Because once your opponent takes bottom control and watchtower control, you need to build a Nidus to make these swarm hosts any good. And he's going to throw that up there. It's an evacuation Nidus rather than a forward Nidus. It's not for going across the map. It's actually for going home. 4th base for MAXPAX. He finally gets it up. And SERRAL, of course, the destroyer of Nexi, says no thank you. Takes out a Zealot on top of that, as well as the Nexus kill. MAXPAX back to 3 bases, but even with that limited income, he's building Tempest, he's building Mothership. We have to check in on the units lost tab and say, look, SERRAL's been more efficient than him, and surely that means SERRAL's winning. He's had more bases, he's been more efficient. Problem, guys, he's got that efficiency by sitting on a bad work account. That is why SERRAL does not have a large bank. It's why SERRAL is not looking to be in a dominating position. Now, as long as these Swarmers get in the Nidus Worm, he will be okay. He's going to get in. Oh, one of them gets trapped on the outside. One Swarm host will go down. New Nidus Worm in the south going to try to deny it down there as MAXPAX rotates to the north. MAXPAX, if he can keep SERRAL on this base count, on this low work account, slowly establish his own 4th, get his map control back up, I do think MAXPAX will regain control of this game, and with the air army be able to grind him down. SERRAL's still trying to find ways to do damage, but his Nidus Worms are being found. That one goes down. And looks like he's going to go in with an Overseer, but there's cannons, there's Void Rays here. Top left base just got killed or cancelled there. And Nidus in the main going to try to come out. Wow, interestingly, MAXPAX letting it pop. That could be big. Hydras come forward in the middle. They find themselves an Immortal, but they do get Stasis Trap. The Stasis Trap coming out big. Popping out here would be kind of ambitious. He thinks about it. He realizes, nah, I don't want to throw these away. He's going to hit the north side again. There are some cannons on that base. SERRAL trying to go for it. There's already 3 Tempests out. 4th one building. Not only that, guys, but Mama has arrived. And you know when Mama's arrived and Zerg doesn't have a Spire? The Zerg never planned for the game to go this long. And without a Spire, SERRAL is screwed. He needs to build a Spire right now, but on 57 workers, he does not feel he can afford it. He's trying to retake the bottom base. The hatchery is misplaced. He's only got a bit of gas income, not enough. The Spire finally goes down. The Locust Lurker counterattack hits. And this is going to prompt a very aggressive move from the Protoss. He's got an army in the north of Immortal Storm. He's got this army with Tempest and Mothership down here as well. Lurker Hydra's going to try to fall back. SERRAL's like, I can't actually fight this. He's going to try and deal with that army. But you can see there's 2 full energy High Templar in there. You can't really run this army down. SERRAL wants to, but there's big storms in there. Oh my god, he actually frenzies forward, eats the storms, and actually hunts down a bunch of these units. Very brave move there for SERRAL. Gets a few of the Immortals at the same time. Lurkers took out the 4th base. MAXPAX back to his initial 3 bases. The Lurkers forcing a messy situation. I think messy situations are what SERRAL wants right now. He wants to make this game as sloppy as possible. But look at this. MAXPAX kills a base, turns around. No, he changes his mind. He goes back in on the front. Okay. Can't be indecisive in this situation. There's a big wall of Lurker Hydra there. There are no Vipers, though, and it's going to be really hard to defend this. Hydra Ravager comes forward, throws a Bile, just forcing those Tempests to micro a little bit. This Hydra almost takes out the Tempest, but not quite. Second base and main base are the only ones remaining for MAXPAX. Says he's going to do the cheeky maneuver. The Lurkers need to move as well. He needs to move the Lurkers. SERRAL, he's thinking about it. Oh, God, no. He doesn't unburrow the Lurkers. Good discipline for SERRAL. He only brings a few Lurkers to the high ground. He doesn't want to get his whole army pulled out of position by a feint. And the Mothership threatens the recall, but does not commit to it. MAXPAX knows if he loses that army, it is lights out. MAXPAX, barely any mining in this game, whereas SERRAL, with that fresh base up the top, still has a big mining advantage. And look at that. Swarmo's going to siege the natural Fleet Beacon and Robos, both very exposed tech structures. Frenzy to go forwards does SERRAL. I would like SERRAL to try and take out the Cybercore if he can. Gets a few of these buildings, but he's not really microing the Locusts as he's got a lot of stuff going on right now. There we go. He starts to focus fire. Fleet Beacon and a Robo both fall. One of the gases goes down. Nice value for SERRAL as he expands to the top left side of the map. Now, he's only got 1 queen. She's got a lot of energy, and he's got to use her to respread creep. And SERRAL, dude, he's so good at resetting into a macro situation, no matter what's happening in the game. Like, I started pointing it out, and I'm like, well, there's no way SERRAL's going to think to do this for another 30 seconds. He was already, the moment I found that queen, he'd already found her and started spreading creep. And that's something where so few players will do that in such a hectic game, but SERRAL is doing it. Now, for MAXPAX, guys, like, he's got to make a play. He has to either go win the game or double expand and start building probes. He has to make that decision. He has to make it soon. He's got an army at home, half of it, an army on the front. SERRAL is just making it hard to kill him right now as his corrupt account slowly grows. Great Aspires coming in. You don't really need upgrades for Corruptors to take down Tempest. They'll do pretty well either way. On the north side, he's got some Lurker Hydra, some Swarm Hosts over there. He's going to throw Locusts. He's expecting a base to be taken over here, but there's actually no bases up. MAXPAX is just like, well, I can't secure them, so why even try? MAXPAX basically trying to slowly win with his army. Oh no, SERRAL loses both of his Vipers. No, one Viper goes down and takes a bunch of damage. A bit of a sloppy move command, just not keeping track of where MAXPAX was, and that moment of inattention is going to cost me. He's only got 7 Corruptors. It's not enough to beat this air army. Does he even... He's got 23 Lurkers, which obviously can beat the ground army on its own, but it's if those Tempests, man, SERRAL has to pull back. He has to pull back. He has to pull back. He goes forward there. SERRAL needs to pull back into the ramp and that side. But look at this. MAXPAX knows if you pull back, you give up position. You don't want to give up this position. He's going to start using this to tax SERRAL as best he can. SERRAL's trying to build more Corruptors. He doesn't have any Viper energy. If he had some Abducts or something to scare MAXPAX back, or a serious counterattack maybe, Swarmo's going to go over there. Look at this giant army for MAXPAX. 147 supply of Protoss that is just ruining him, picking away at the Lurkers. But Lurker Hydra comes out. This is going to put a timer on MAXPAX saying, you better get a move on. If you don't kill me soon, I'm going to pick away your entire base at home. And you might even be able to turn this into a base trade. If he doesn't defend at home, it could become a base trade with those Lurkers popping out. He's going to recall, and that's exactly what SERRAL wants, because SERRAL's on 46 workers. He's mining way more resources. Every time MAXPAX pulls home, SERRAL is like, sweet, more time to drag this out, to use my income. And MAXPAX's inability to secure an expansion, this has been his weakness against SERRAL, is in late game. SERRAL's ability to deny bases while continuing to expand them, no matter how messy it is just better than MAXPAX. We saw it a year and a half ago where MAXPAX could never secure a 5th versus SERRAL, but even in games like this, the Corruptors dive! I don't know if that's the play, though. He gets rid of a bunch of the Tempers. My god, I did not expect to dive right there. Neither did MAXPAX. Gets rid of a bunch of the Tempers, though. How many Tempers just went down? 5 Tempers for 11 Corruptors. That's probably okay for SERRAL with the way the income is right now. I think that's all right. He did get rid of all the Swarm Hosts, though. Nice catch for MAXPAX to kill the Swarm Hosts. The Lurkers are still ready on the front, though. He's going to keep popping these Nidus Worms further forward. Lurkers are there. He's got more Corruptors. That's all you need to build is SERRAL. Just make enough Corruptors to kill the Tempest, have enough Lurkers on the ground to hold on, and I think he's going to be able to bring this back. But I can't believe it, man. I thought MAXPAX had weathered the scary part of the Swarm Hosts, of the Nidus Worms, had got a good army, but SERRAL is just finding a way while having a worse army than his opponent. This is textbook, my army is worse than yours, but I have mobility, I have Nidus Worms to amplify that mobility, and I will fight where you are weak and I am strong, and I will never fight you head on unless I'm catching you off guard a little bit. It's really hard for MAXPAX to just force a pitched battle, right? Because Protoss normally wins late game against Zerg by kind of shaving them down. Oh, he goes for a recall. Very early recall into the main. MAXPAX with a big move. SERRAL realizes his tech is gone. He starts a lair. He needs to start a Hydra Den, Lurker Den, Infestation Pit right now. If he doesn't start an Infestation Pit somewhere else, he's going to be screwed because he's not going to be able to rebuild that tech very easily. Lurkers are repositioning. High Templar taking some damage. Where are the Overseers? Overseers needed. Oh god, this is massive move for MAXPAX. It's a massive move for MAXPAX. SERRAL, he's eating some big Archons, some big Storm Shots. Too much of his army's up north. SERRAL does not have everything hotkeyed. He's going to lose his main, his natural, his Spire, his Lurker Den. Hydra's going to dive on top of the Immortals. He's going to go for it. SERRAL says, well, you're too busy looking at that. You're not looking over here. And MAXPAX is actually going to GG because he knows he's going to lose everything at home. Oh my god, what a crazy sequence at the end. So hard to keep up with that. He's still got the army here. I mean, you can see the Time Warp goes down. He's still got a scary army, but losing those Immortals at home. And then does he lose stuff here? He loses an Archon. Oh, he loses a few High Templar. And he starts to lose. Yeah, you can see he's already thinking about G. He's like, look, I'm going to kill your tech. But he knows at this point, there's still 2 good healthy bases mining and a good pack of Corruptors that are hard to break. And he's going to lose all of his base. He doesn't have recall anymore for another 15 seconds. He could recall to keep his main alive, but he's got no mining. He has no, income future here. And there's just, he's just like, oh god, like, I would have liked to see him stay in there, honestly. Try to make something of it. But I think we can understand. SERRAL just wore him down. Fantastic, top tier positioning. Some of the best Zerg versus Protoss I have probably ever watched. That is a fantastic, just series and match there. And this is SERRAL using the map with the early Swarm Hosts, not overcommitting. How many players do we used to see go 16 Swarm Hosts and a Nidus Worm? He goes 10. And he transitions to Hive and Lurkers behind it, right? And adds the Vipers and all this sort of stuff. Like, SERRAL is he's just a bit less committed to the moves, right? He finds value with less commitment. And MAXPAX answered it a lot better by trying to actually fight for this bottom side than he did in the last series, but damn, man, SERRAL just stayed flexible, started abusing the Nidus in the top side, and just really well played from both sides. This is truly excellent as a PvZ series. GG, well played. All right, SERRAL up 2-1 after an excellent El Dorado. We're going on to Ultra Love right now. One more game, SERRAL wins it, goes to the rematch, the big finals match against Mr. Clem. Let's see if he can take this one out. He's going to be going for, once again, 14 drones. And he's going to go for that. Oh, 14 Overlord. He's going to go 14 Hatchery this time. And MAXPAX, I think this is a 13. No, that's a probe sent across pretty much at the start of the game, maybe just slightly after the start. Can he get there in time? Because this hatchery can go down on 32 seconds. 32? Maybe not 32. Okay, 32 is only if it's before Overlord, right? He sees the probe, so he's going to go 14 after Overlord. 39-second hatchery. MAXPAX unable to get the block. And SERRAL, he's so good at getting that expansion down, man. He does not like getting blocked. And it's one of the big things which makes his opening so good. The way he picks when and where to do it, it's kind of insane. There we go, probes dancing around. All right, got a couple guys on gas. One probe's gonna rally to the natural as well. Okay, this is really interesting because Ultra Love is a map where you've got blink pressure. You've got a lot of things you can do. I don't think SERRAL's gonna do anything fancy this game. But I think MAXPAX might be a little haunted by what happened last time he played this game. He messed up his start on Ultra Love. He lost a bunch of probes on his third to a Ling run by and then just died to a big Roach Hydra push, right? It was a pretty simple build. Something you don't see from SERRAL very much, a Roach Hydra push, right? 66 drones. But it just destroyed. This is a broken patch. It guarantees gets the expansion, says Brainless. I do love that people were legitimately saying that. I'm like, yeah, the 2 seconds earlier on that hatchery, that's the difference. It's definitely not that the Zergs figured out they could build the hatchery before even building their Overlord some games. The 14 and 15 hatchery before Overlord that SERRAL goes for sometimes on like El Dorado and stuff to ensure it gets down is crazy. This one's a bit more in between. I think it's a big enough map so he realized he can go Overlord then 14 hatchery if he sees the probe coming. It's really well done, man. Twitch says, it sucks so much when the Uber Eats driver decides to wait for another order, so mine ends up cold and stout. I haven't ordered Uber Eats in a long time. Guys, I try to never order any of those delivery services anymore. Number one, it used to be cheap because they had investment funds and they basically subsidized it all. And now they basically trying to make profit, which means it costs more than old delivery used to, or at least the same as just calling the place directly. Number one. Number two, the food's always cold. If you guys are buying McDonald's, please don't Uber Eats it. Like, there are foods that degrade so quickly, man. Just get, like, if you're going to get delivery, get Domino's. They have a proper delivery guy. He gets there really fast, and it'll be warm. It'll be hot from that nice heating bag they have, and he's not going to stop at 7 other places on the way waiting to get stuff that's not even ready and drop that off before yours. Like, it's just such a crap service these days. Uber Eats and DoorDash and all these things, they're bad. And there are certain foods that degrade so quickly with time. Like, you want to eat it hot or it's not good. I used to like really crap on McDonald's. I've been like, you know what, Macca's is not bad. It's not bad if you eat it straight away. you got to eat it within like 4 minutes of getting that thing, or it's gonna drop off a cliff, man. Like if you want some cheap fast food that's going to be like really consistent, reliable, get some Domino's, man. Get some pizza that delivers through their own delivery service. And or if you can, get out there. But I guess it's a shame. I mean, I'm obviously a bit lucky. I do live right near a lot of restaurants and stuff, so it's a bit easier for me. But I've realized, like, there was just so many times I'd get a meal that I'd love eating fresh, and I'd get it delivered, and I'd go, it was nice that got delivered to my house, but I can't say it was good. You know, like, I'm like, it fed me. And it had some of the flavor profile that the thing normally does. It was a little squished. It did take 30 minutes to get to my, like, you know, it's like, it's just not that great. The one, I mean, my local Thai joint with the Chinese delivery service that I have, because I live in like a very Chinese neighborhood. There's like literally a Chinese delivery service. Those guys are zipping around my neighborhood like 24/7. They actually get here in like 2 minutes from getting it. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. But even then, I'm like, man, if I just go get it myself, it's way better. It's just so much fresher and nicer. But yeah. Yeah, food deliveries, I feel I'm so happy that I just like always go get food instead, or I feel like I'd rather eat a peanut butter sandwich. Just like throw some peanut butter on some like not even fresh bread and eat that for dinner than order Uber Eats these days. Anyway, that's really nice harassment, guys. 2 drones on top of the other 2 and 2 overlords and a Zerg. Guys, this is crazy. Dude, MAXPAX is ruining him. Dude, sorry, you can't lose 2 overlords and 4 drones to a single oracle. What is this, mate? Dude, if he... Nah, there's no way he cancels that, surely. Where are the queens? Oh, God, the queens are too late, guys. Oh, but he changed targets. MAXPAX went for the creep tumor. SERRAL kind of distracted him for a second there. I don't think he really believed he was going to get the hatchery. If he stayed on it, he might have been able to get it if he stayed on it. SERRAL canceled. Why? Guys, that wasn't going to die. That had like 40 plus hit points, and it was only going down 10 hit points every 2 seconds. So I get maybe he wanted the extra hit points so it can't get sniped by stalkers later, but yeah, a little bit odd. Bad start for SERRAL so far. Blink stalkers coming forward. That's going to be 6 gateways, right? Yeah, 6 gate blink. He'll take the gases and behind it. I don't know why. I feel like MAXPAX, he hasn't played double forge at all this series. I wonder if he goes back to double forge at all. It's not very popular these days. Storm, of course, has become the way to do it. And he does go, yeah, Storm, double gas on that 3rd base as well. To be fair, guys, I have a bit of a fetish for peanut butter. I'd probably eat peanut butter rather than anything. Let's be real. I'm obsessed. Ooh, finds an overseer. Dude, MAXPAX is getting so many value deals right now. SERRAL making some real sloppy mistakes. Right? It just feels like MAXPAX is going to be able to steamroll through this early stage, easily get to a 4th base off the back of this. And the question more is SERRAL can survive, drag this out to late game and make some magic happen, which we know he can do. But it's going to be tough. Stalker's going to go to the right side now. Zergling should be setting off this stasis trap, but SERRAL doesn't quite know where it is, so it doesn't quite get set off. Stalker's blinking away. Only 1 Oracle on this right side. The Void Ray comes in on the natural. My God, this Void Ray is still going around and getting damage done. But the Queen baits it. And you can see SERRAL, he had the transfuse ready. He didn't use it because he wanted to bait it in. Stalker's blinking back. Good move by MAXPAX. Really nice play. Dude, he's lost 1 unit. He's lost 1 Stalker this game for 25 Zerglings, 4 drones, 3 Overlords, and an Overseer. SERRAL up against the wall right now. We see how important the early game is in Zerg versus Protoss. The harassment game, the droning, the probing, the getting the 3rd bases up, the 4th bases. I mean, MAXPAX now is a 4th on the way. Storm +2, all the works. He's still only lost 2 Void Ray and 1 more Stalker. Did lose that Void Ray eventually. But yeah, SERRAL's got a 4th and a 5th on the way. He's only on 67 workers. He's still making a ton of Zerglings and Ravagers. And that's not a long-term army, but he's got 2 Overlords. So he's thinking about maybe, do we load up Lings into the main base? It's a 4th Nexus in the way. It's going to be hard to do that. I think he might have initially been planning to just go for the Roach Ravager Zergling Queen attack. But I don't think he thinks that's going to work. I think he knows he's too far behind, maybe. 7 Overlords building. SERRAL massively supply block. Dude, is this SERRAL or is this Dark? Right now, I just say, SERRAL's looking like really good with his builds and he's playing that last game, but game 1 and now this one, like it feels like there's like a little bit of slightly un-SERRAL things happening here and there. Like just maybe MAXPAX is just playing so well, and when SERRAL doesn't have a good start, you get to see his humanity, right? He actually makes mistakes. Overlord's coming forward to drop creep. Queens are there. Storm is ready though. Running into Storm with this, SERRAL's just like, yeah, nah, it's not going to work. There's 0 chance. He literally just runs away. He's still building Zerglings, though. 2 more Queens building. I mean, this feels awful as SERRAL. What do you even do here, man? He's going to go Hydra Den Infestation Pit. He's trying to transition to late game, making workers as well. But, of course, MAXPAX is all over it. Blinks forward, chases back the Overlord. Doubling, drop on the left side. Going to try to get in. SERRAL has to play Lurkers, and he has to make magic happen. He's going to have to try and turn a couple of Zerg units into wine. And look at that. Overlord drop gets spotted. MAXPAX. Does he see it? He's looking at the front right now. I don't think he's noticed the drop. Got a Zealot run by on the top left. Storm's coming in here. Stalker Storm looking good. High Templar getting protected by the stasis. And all the High Templar survive. Good moves as the Zealots go in at the same time. Ling drop comes in. Zealot Stalker is there to respond. He's going to drop one in the 3rd, but there's cannon there as well. Easy defense for Maximus. Oh, man. You know, looking at how good MAXPAX is playing lately, guys, I feel like he's evolving as a player, and I feel like maybe... feels like such a god gamer. Is he Elon Musk all along? Is he Kekius Maximus? I think so, man. This guy looks like he could be level 97 in Diablo. In Path of Exile, you know, having a good time. Stalker's all over it. SERRAL doesn't have the numbers to keep up with him anymore. SERRAL not able to keep up with Maximus Musk over here. Just too good at video games. Warp Prism's going to go down on the right side. Could recall that one. Stalker Archon on the left side as well. More High Templar need to come forward. He's going to bring them from home with some energy recharge. SERRAL's had too bad of a start, and you're seeing that when SERRAL doesn't have control over this matchup, MAXPAX really feels like a very even or maybe even favored matchup versus SERRAL. But when he has the advantage, that's when it's hard. Overlord gets picked off in the back there. I think that was the drop lord from before. MAXPAX loses a few units there, but the moment he has Storm on the front side, you can see 1,500 resources ahead, up 6 probes. He's got the gases going down in the fourth. He's got cannon battery everywhere. Fleet beacon coming in. Zealots are going to try and stress SERRAL out. He's got to pull these to the right. Guys, that probe, thinking he's one of the boys, joins in with those Zealots for a bit of a crazy distraction attack there. Oh, all the queens just got caught out in the open. He just caught all the queens out in the open. Zealots on the left side, Zealots on the right side. A lot more queens go there. Dude, how many queens does he have? He just caught a few queens in the middle, but there's still 8 queens on the right side of this map. SERRAL just massing queens right now, building anything he can to survive. He doesn't have a lot of lava. Zealots trying to overwhelm there. The army in the middle looking too scary. SERRAL does not have the numbers. And that was a beautiful move right there, dude. MAXPAX is just looking slick right now. A very nice game, and it all came off the back of that early Oracle behind the Void Ray. I mean, Void Ray getting 2 Overlords is good, but then the Oracle came in and it was like, dude, oh, not finding any damage, that's fine. But he's like, no, gets a drone, gets a second one, and that already looked good. But then this Void Ray was hanging out on the left side, being a distraction, and that Oracle coming back in for the extra 2 here, and a few seconds later, was really good. Gets a Creep Tumor, forces a Spore, gets another one, and that was just really excellent play for MAXPAX. So much damage, so much distraction, and then cancelling the 4th base with the Void Ray on top of it all was just the cherry on top of the cake. Beautiful play for MAXPAX to tie up the series and go to Game 5. All right. We got ourselves a Game 5. I don't know, guys. I actually have not been spoiled. And for some reason, like, the superstitious part of my brain feels like MAXPAX is going to lose this. But I don't know, man. It would be really cool to see MAXPAX actually overcome and come back. Because, you know, he beat SERRAL in the Masters Coliseum. SERRAL beat him in the rematch. SERRAL's beat him already in this tournament. And if MAXPAX beats him, it's like, hey, you guys are kind of 50-50 in overall series over the last 2 major tournaments in the last few weeks. And it would be nice to see a rivalry there. But obviously, I want to see the player who plays the best StarCraft win. And we'll see how that goes. It's going to be going for the block, but I think SERRAL gets this down just barely. 42 seconds. Oh, he doesn't get it. Oh, do you know how bad that feels? You're sitting on 274 minerals, and you're like, I need 275. You're like, can we take out a loan to get this hatchery started? But no, SERRAL has to go for the 17 hatchery, and MAXPAX going to be really happy with that one. Really well done, dude. Beautiful. All right, gateway goes there. Is that an opening on that side, guys? Nah, I don't think. No, surely not. Is it? I can't tell. I never wall off on the edge like that, so we'll see how we go, man. All right, gas and spawning pool coming up as well. All right. Pull the worker off minerals onto gas, very standard stuff. Let's see if SERRAL looks a little shaky against the probe micro. Probe micro, you can tell if the player's a bit distracted, a bit shaky, a bit in their own head if they kind of mess up the counter micro. But you can see SERRAL keeps selecting the drones. You see the little red circle when he selects one to kind of counter micro against it. And just fixes up that mining, makes sure they don't get too deviated. So far, he's been doing a good job of it. Only very minor disturbances. No real damage, just MAXPAX forcing APM out of SERRAL there. And of course, he doesn't have the APM to micro his own probes at the same time as that. Second gas goes down after the Cybercore, after the Nexus. So it's Nexus, Cybercore, second gas, and the second pylon drops here. Beautifully built, beautiful played. SERRAL with 80 gas. You'll notice he'll pull off on 88. He'll start pulling these off so we can start link speed. There we go. 88, 96, and there we go. Exactly 100 gas. And link speed starts up as he hits 100 minerals. Beautiful play here by SERRAL. He already has 2 queens, 4 zerglings on the way. A clinical build order for both sides. Now, Cybercore's there. It does look like that is an opening on the top right. But I don't know if a Stalker can even fit through that. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how this wall off works for MAXPAX. Hopefully it doesn't have a hero moment in Game 5. That would be a real bummer. Stalk is unable to get in and out of his own base. Hatchery comes up. Chronoing an Adept. Not a bad play. I mean, Chrono with the Adept, Chrono the second one. Talked about how doing this a bit more can be super good to force more Zerglings out of your opponent. There's only 4 links. SERRAL's been greedy. SERRAL's been very greedy here, guys. Good Spore Trick to stop himself taking any damage, but also great pullback by MAXPAX. It only takes 1 hit point of damage, turns that 70 hit point Adept into a 69 hit point one, which can only amplify her power, surely. She comes forward and, oh, SERRAL a bit greedy with the Creep Tumor. He loses it. Gets himself a Zergling as well, does MAXPAX, and he's going to shade in. Ah, it's a bit sloppy. Nice Spore Trick to save the drone. Think SERRAL's happy to lose a Creep Tumor for an Adept. Bit of a mistake there for Maximus. Does get a second gateway in the wall off. First Oracle's about to pop out, and Spore Crawler in the main will be well timed to shut that down. 1 Adept for 1 Zergling. Great trade for SERRAL, of course. Creep Tumor does not show up in the units lost. Neither does the double Spore Trick, and little bits of mining time here and there. Oracle's going to guard the third base. SERRAL's got a bit of momentum in that regard, so forces MAXPAX to be defensive. So allows SERRAL to catch up on the drones. Third base goes down. Does leave that open for a moment as the second Oracle's about to come out. Oh my gosh. Oh, nice cancel for SERRAL. Gets the cancel on the base. And MAXPAX answers. Gets a drone kill there. At least SERRAL cancels the Spore to get 57 minerals back. That's something, but great plays here for MAXPAX to minimize the damage. He instantly rebuilds his base at home. Gets the Overlord snipe in the main. And what is this on the front? Another Oracle comes in. Oh, he's so good with that double Oracle, isn't he? 4 drones. You can see the other Oracle tried to steer back in from behind the natural, but SERRAL split his queens. 4 drones going down, 6 Zerglings. I think for canceling the third, it's reasonably even after all this, but of course SERRAL with a little supply block might be feeling a bit shook there, going, damn it, I got the cancel, but I took a bunch of damage. Kind of resets things. MAXPAX might even be the one who's coming out on top with a Twilight, 3 more gateways coming in, no Forge. Is this a delayed Glaives attack? MAXPAX hasn't done any Glaives follow-ups this series. Oh, it's the ultimate surprise! He's never going to expect this. SERRAL will never expect this, guys, because you can't scout the gases on this base. Your Overlords are gone. Your Lair's nowhere near. He does have a Roach Warren coming down. It's a late Roach Warren, but it's going to be well, early enough to defend this if he builds Roaches straight away. But, I mean, he's not going to be expecting that in Game 5, a deciding match. It's a big commitment. It's scary to commit to something like this. But SERRAL, if he doesn't have Lings active on the other side of the map and he doesn't build Roaches, it's going to be a real big problem. 4-gate Glaives, as that 4th gateway does just now transform. And he's already got himself 8, 9, 10 Adepts. I think you'll probably want to wait for maybe just 1 more warp in and then shade across. I mean, he could start moving across now if he wants to hit the moment Glaives finishes. Roach Warren's done 63 drones. SERRAL building 7 more workers. 6. Oh, God, he's going to 70 workers, guys. He's got to make Roaches, and he's got to make... He's supply blocked right now. This is a disaster. SERRAL just queued up even more workers. He has no idea what's happening. We're on SERRAL's camera. He sees 2 Adepts and he's like, oh, that's weird. 2 free Adepts. Let's kill those. And now he sees the rest and his heart sinks. He instantly starts up 2 Roaches. He's trying to run his drones. He's trying to run a worker to the wall off, but there's an Adept blocking it. Oh, no. He has to fight with his drones. He does get a good drone surround. Zergling's Queens trying to do the damage they can. It's an awkward position for MAXPAX, but I mean, you've got Adepts fighting drones. You've got to take that fight. Even if it's a bit of an awkward angle, the Adepts trying to get inside the main base. They're going to go in there. Drones already evacuating. SERRAL has to show the best scramble ever right here in Game 5. Oracle comes in from behind the natural. It's going to get no Mega Stasis if SERRAL doesn't realize. SERRAL does realize because he's a god. Adept starting to go down. They've already killed 19 workers. More at the front right now. SERRAL's already gone back to Zergling production and now drone production, saying, I need to shut this down. I need to shut this down and get back to economy. But that means there's a window for more Adepts to come in the front, and they could cause issues. As the Lings come out, I think they'll be able to shut down these Adepts. They're going to shade in. They're going to get decent surface area. The Lings are not with a good angle, and every drone that gets focused down is so bad. An Adept in the main with 5 kills, make it 6. Adepts in the natural get cleaned up. The one in the main gets another kill, 7, 8. That Adept a menace, and the Roach pulls away. SERRAL is right now in the dumpster, and MAXPAX gets a 9th. That Adept says, taste my glaive, mother trucker. And SERRAL, he's got a salty, just disgusting, salty taste in his brain, in his heart. He knows he's not dead, but he's halfway there. He's had his hamstring slashed. He's going to be hobbling around the ring for the rest of this match. If he brings it back after losing 37 drones, it will be a monumental comeback. Now, don't get me wrong. He had a massive worker count. He was so far ahead on workers. Is that big a deal? Units lost tab's pretty similar. Remember, the mining time, though, is massive. You've got now 6 gas, Storm, 4th Nexus starting. MAXPAX has all the money in the world. He's a bit supply blocked. And honestly, I'd like to see him continue pressing. But SERRAL is behind on the tech. His melee, only halfway done at almost 8 minutes. His infestation pit's just finished, but he doesn't have great units to pick from. He's trying to not make any roach speed. He wants to go straight to just a few Ravages to help him defend, and then go like Hive, Lurkers, and try to play more of a Ling Hydra Lurker style, but this is going to be really hard for him to recover. Equal supply, Stalkers, Oracles on the front, Storm and 4th base on the way. The pressure is entirely on SERRAL in this game, and I would not be surprised if MAXPAX leans on him with the Stalker pressure and gets the win in the next 2 minutes. Because if you just keep trading here, SERRAL has not had the time to recover. He's going to be supply blocked as well, almost. He's got a little bit of supply to build Zerg. He's going to try to sneak a few across the map. Adepts on the left side. Remember, these aren't just regular Adepts, they are Glaive Adepts. But great positioning for SERRAL. Gets the Zerglings around, and one of them with the 2 Queens should be able to defend that. That Adept not going to do much at all. Zerglings on the right side. Don't go in for the run by. More gateways coming down. That's going to be 6 gates going to 8. And now 10 gates for MAXPAX. Lings come in from behind, set off multiple stasis traps. Beautiful play here by SERRAL. If you could surround a few of these Zerglings, that would be great. You can see the way he moves forward to try and stop him from retreating. He gets 1, 2, 3 Stalkers down and then pulls back. Every Stalker is worth 7 Zerglings, remember, in terms of direct unit cost. And, of course, the Zerglings are only minerals. The Stalkers cost gas as well. So, arguably, you could say 200 resources rather than 175 in terms of value, which means it's about 8 Zerglings worth. 4 more gateways are building. That's the 12 gate count that I was talking about. Robo coming in. Storm's almost done. 7th and 8th gases. MAXPAX easily gets to late game here. The question is, can SERRAL stabilize in a playable position? Right now, he's down on supply against a guy who has Storm. He has Zerglings and a few Roaches and Ravagers. He's trying to make Hydras, but my golly, how do you even stop the Stalker Storm army? I know this is not a good pushing army. People talk about Stalker Storm's bad. It's not good for attacking. It's amazing for attacking against Hydra lane, guys. The Storms... Oh, he does get caught by the Zerglings for a second. Doesn't full Storm himself, though. Very well placed. Adepts on the left side going to come in. He's still using Adept counterattacks. Ling's trying to surround here. I think the Spore should probably unburrow. But look at that. Lurker's trying to come out. Stalker's getting on top. The Lurker's trying to burrow. Desperately trying to hang on to this base. The Ling's managed to clean up the Adept counterattack. SERRAL's doing as best as he can. The Queens are there for transfuses. He's transfusing the Hatchery rather than the Lurkers. He's trying to keep this base alive. SERRAL is in survival mode. He has pulled up his turtle shell. He's got his shield arm up above his head. And he's right now like, look, dude, we've got... he's a Finn, right? Their whole history is these dirty Danish and Norwegians and Swedish people coming and raiding and trying to take his women. Okay, that's their history. He's like, we gotta hold on. We have to just survive. He forces all the High Templar to morph into Archons with the Lynx around. He's getting the Stalkers there as well. The Lurker's trying to hang on. He's taking out the Archons as well. Oh, the Archon's going down. Zealots on the left side, though. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. The Hydra's Queens. He's basically got to hold on against a bunch of 9-foot tall warriors that are trying to pillage and burn. MAXPAX is not giving him the room to recover, dude. SERRAL's like, oh gosh, please hang on. He's trying to survive. He's doing everything he can. And I guarantee you, if he brings back this game, I don't know what I'll do. I'll learn a phrase in Finnish and to call him God or something, and I don't know, I'll praise him as the Lord Emperor of Finland and StarCraft next time I see him in person. If SERRAL brings this back, this will be such an epic comeback, but MAXPAX not giving him that room to breathe. MAXPAX says, this is my moment. I want to be in that big finals. I want to get revenge for the last series, the last couple of series we played against each other, and he's in the position to do it. But good defense for SERRAL. He's scrambling around. If a Prism gets in the main, though, is he ready for it? No, he is not. He does not see the Prism, and the Lings down here get cleaned up. SERRAL doesn't even know about that bottom base. Yes, he does, actually. Sorry, 5th base coming up. Northern base, only a few Lurkers. Hydra's there. The Storms come in. 2 Lurkers go down. Dude, the Revelation and the dives to snipe those Lurkers is so big. Hydra's in the main, though. Prism will go down. Nice move there for SERRAL. He cleans up the Warp Prism, but he just doesn't have the numbers to hang on. He's getting worn down, and he has to tap out. That is absolutely insane, dude. You could see these Zealots were hitting this base at the same time. He had to pull his whole army to desperately try and defend the north, but he was so far behind. And the Glaive Adepts in Game 5, MAXPAX is famous for being too predictable. He's too easy to pick apart. He's too easy to guess what he's going to do and take advantage of. And in Game 5, the deciding match of a series, MAXPAX did, which nobody expected. I would not have predicted this, and SERRAL definitely did not, and that is committing to Glaive Adepts. 4-gate Glaives after an active Oracle opening. He'd already got a bit of damage, but he'd had his 3rd cancelled. I'd say it was still very fine, maybe a slight advantage for MAXPAX. But then when those Adepts came in, dude, SERRAL had no idea, and I guarantee you, SERRAL is going to be super mad. And I'll tell you why, guys. Because remember, as those Adepts came across the map, SERRAL tried to drone past 70 workers. And he broke his own rules. So, guys, he's at 65. He's building 8 more drones. He's trying to go to 72 drones. SERRAL's rule, normally, is if you don't see gases on the Protoss' third, you stop at 66 drones. If you see gases on the third, then you can drone your fourth base. He was droning past 66 drones, past the 3 base. He was already building 6+ workers for the fourth. Now, you could argue, was he really? Maybe not, because he hasn't actually taken his gases yet. So maybe I'm wrong on that. Because that's a dead drone, that's a dead drone, that's a dead... He's going to kill 4, 5, 6 drones. I guess he was probably only going to 67, 68 drones after you account for the buildings he's going to be building. But his lair was really late. He was a bit far behind, and just a crisp timing. He was a little behind from the early game, I think. And he doesn't realize what's happening. And that's just rough, right? Because even here, he hadn't started his roaches. He was close to being supply blocked. Didn't have any lava available. It's a shortish map as well. And a slight gap in his vision. Being a little bit greedy, as well as MAXPAX having a good start, just led to a perfect sequence here. And when you have to fight adepts with drones, it's rough. Great play for MAXPAX. Really good series. Gets the 3-2 upset and goes to the grand finals against Clem. Hats off to you, MAXPAX. GG, well played, you legend.